I ain't gotta prove nothing to nobody else. That's why I don't never get too hyped about the win after I win, because it's like you always gotta do something over and over again till you're done. And there's always gonna be somebody next, somebody next, somebody next. So I feel as though I don't have to prove myself to these people.
Let's go!
You know what I'm saying? So we're striving to be the best that we can be to be on that level again. You know? So, you saying you want to do what you want to do, that's good. That's what you want to do.
That's the God in you that's trying
that's
to
good.
seek
And,
it.
and you give it back and give it thanks.
Gervonta "Tank" Davis is intensifying his training for the upcoming clash with Jake Paul, refining every aspect of his game to ensure his knockout power remains as lethal as ever. His camp is centered around explosive strength, razor-sharp timing, and unbreakable endurance, proving that his dominance is built through hard work, not just talent. Meanwhile, Jake Paul is treating this as the defining fight of his career. He's enlisted top-tier sparring partners like Shakur Stevenson, Raymond Ford, and Montana Love to elevate his speed, defensive reactions, and overall confidence before stepping into the ring with Tank.
So that's boxing at its finest right there. You heard it. They said it. They got everything on the line. That's old school right there.
Gervonta Davis is putting major focus on conditioning that fortifies his core and prepares his body to absorb and deliver powerful shots. Having experienced the impact of brutal punches before, he understands the value of toughness, balance, and stability in the ring. His camp is filled with demanding drills designed to enhance posture, resilience, and explosive punching power. Every session runs at maximum intensity as Davis pushes his limits, building unmatched strength, endurance, and mental fortitude in preparation for the high-stakes showdown against Jake Paul. Good morning, Atlanta. Gervonta Davis has earned his place in boxing through relentless hard work, discipline, and sacrifice. His rise from a young, hungry fighter to a world champion is a story of pure dedication. Trainer Calvin Ford, who has guided him since his early days, says Davis's success is no accident. It's the result of countless hours in the gym, perfecting every detail. Ford has witnessed his transformation firsthand, from chasing dreams to dominating under the brightest lights. Every victory reflects his commitment to growth. Now, as Davis prepares for his anticipated showdown with Jake Paul, the boxing world is buzzing with opinions and predictions about what's next. Veteran trainer Abel Sanchez views this matchup as a golden opportunity for Gervonta Davis, not just inside the ring but beyond it. He explains that most fighters dedicate their entire lives to boxing, sacrificing their youth, health, and bodies, yet still face financial struggles. In his eyes, this fight is different. It represents a well-deserved payoff for all that Davis has given to the sport. The financial rewards are massive, and few fighters ever receive such an opportunity during their prime. While it may not be for a title or ranking, Sanchez believes it's a chance for boxing to finally give back to Davis, a fight that could secure his legacy and his future.
And Big King was talking about the majority of it when he was little. We talked about all the stuff when he was little, and he started laughing like, hey.
When I get by myself, I always try to
But we can
I
tell.
just noticed that just now when you talking about it, but when I get by myself, I really try to.
No, we can tell. When I listen to your interview, I like listening to your interviews that you do, and I can tell when you reflect back on certain things. We can see it. That's when I think you at your peace, and you start reflecting back and you talk
But he said something that we told him a long
Long
time
time
ago.
ago. And I said,
We
damn,
forgot.
he did remember that.
Remember that shit.
I see Brody been calling you a little bit. I mean, you know, as far as on which card trying to fight.
Chris Algieri deeply respects what Gervonta Davis represents in modern boxing. He explains that today's sport isn't just about technical skill. It's about attention, star power, and the ability to create excitement. Every time Davis enters the ring, the atmosphere changes. The crowds grow louder, the anticipation rises, and fans tune in because they know anything can happen when Tank is fighting. Known as one of boxing's most dangerous finishers, Davis possesses knockout power that electrifies audiences and keeps them on edge. Algieri believes Davis perfectly embodies the new era of boxing, where showmanship and skill collide. When Davis fights, it feels like an event, pure entertainment wrapped in elite talent. He understands how to stay relevant where presence matters as much as performance.
Fight fan, I don't like the fight, but as a coach, I think it's a good move for Tank Davis. I mean, I've seen too many kids go out of this sport with not a cent in their pocket, and I think that if Tank Davis takes advantage of a big payday like that, I think it's a ridiculous fight as far as a fight fan, but as a coach, I understand it. You have to take care of your own.
Yeah, well, actually, now that we're talking about it, you're not the biggest fan of it. Fight fans are bringing up like, hey, why did he go this way when there's Lamont Roach? Like, look how close that fight was. There was a draw. We were expecting a rematch in that fight.
Yeah, well,
What's happening here?
As much as we hate it, it hasn't become really a sport. It's become a financial sport. So he took it because it's 5-6 times more than he's going to make with Lamont Roach. That makes sense. I mean, anybody, ask anybody if they have a choice, they're going to take the money. Of course. He's got to take care of his people. He's got to take care of himself. He's got to take care of his future. That's the smartest thing to do. As a fight fan, I don't like it. But as a coach, I understand it.
Yeah, no, and I think anybody in that position, like, we got to, put ourselves maybe sometimes in that same situation. And I think anybody with, any sense of common sense would look at that and be like, wait, I'm making this much to fight against this guy that's only been fighting for 5 years compared to what could be maybe a really hard fight, and I'm gonna make double, triple. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Let me do this little side quest real quick, and let me get this money real fast, and then.
Of course, you have to take care of your future. But if it's offered to you, you'd be foolish not to take it, especially against a guy that is no threat to him.
Oh, well, I don't know. This 50 pounds, Abel.
Yeah, but he's no threat to him. Tank Davis fights the way he fights. Understand that Tank Davis fights, he's probably one of my favorite fighters. I think I've said that many times.
Mm-hmm.
He fights in a manner where he's fought all those big guys. Look at the way he throws his punches. Look at how he ducks down like if he's fighting a real big guy. Look at the way he fought when he knocked out Garcia. Look at where he puts his head and how he throws his punches. In the street, that's where he was fighting. He was fighting bigger guys than him. He was always a smaller guy. So he knows how to fight those big guys. He knows how to duck up underneath and throw those looping shots because that's who he fought in the street. At least that's my opinion anyway. He's always been the little guy, and I'm sure that in the streets he wasn't.
There's ongoing debate about Jake Paul and whether his fights are truly fair or influenced by favorable conditions. Carl Froch and Paulie Malignaggi both argue that while Jake's bouts aren't staged, they often come with advantages that tilt things in his favor. They point out that Jake usually enters the ring as the bigger, heavier fighter, often benefiting from rules designed to limit his opponent's strengths, and they expect the same scenario against Gervonta Davis. Both analysts understand the business side of boxing, acknowledging that promoters prioritize spectacle and marketable storylines. Still, they agree that Davis possesses the skill, speed, and fight IQ to disrupt any setup. If the match turns into a contest of pure boxing ability, Froch and Malignaggi believe Tank Davis clearly holds the upper hand.
And the face of boxing is basically... Yeah, the face of boxing now is based on if you sell and if people tune in, how many eyes are tuning in when you fight. Gervonta Davis had that. Jake Paul has that. Now they're fighting each other.
These are
truly the infinite fights.
These are still created products. Jake made his name going to Walgreens and then making funny faces. You know what I mean? And it was just blowing up on YouTube and whatnot, right? I mean, that's how he started.
The world we live in now, dude. It's unfortunate.
Okay,
It's not like Sugar Ray Leonard, who was the best fighter in the world and marketable. It's not like Oscar De La Hoya, who was a gold medalist, a great fighter and marketable.
But what I'm saying is technology allows us to make, if I want to take this shoe off right here, and I say I want to make my Nike sneaker into the best product possible, and I got enough money to push it behind it. I put it all over your social media platform, and I put it all over your TV set, and all over your phone, and all over.
Shakur Stevenson analyzes the matchup from a technical perspective, recognizing that Jake Paul's size and strength provide a real advantage. However, he emphasizes that size alone doesn't win fights. Davis has world-class experience, having faced and defeated elite champions throughout his career. Stevenson believes Tank won't rely on chasing a knockout but will instead fight intelligently, using speed, timing, and ring control to dictate the pace. He expects Davis to remain composed, pick his moments, and accumulate points round by round. While Jake may be durable and difficult to drop, Stevenson predicts that Davis's superior boxing IQ, precision, and composure will ultimately separate him from Jake and secure a clear decision victory.
They realized, an exhibition, you could stage it and they couldn't take bets on it. So this is an exhibition, there is no betting on it. So that means, I'm not saying people are going crazy with the opinions, who's going to win, who's going to lose. You don't know what size gloves they're going to wear. You don't even know if they're going to stage the whole thing. Because this is something that, as an exhibition, it's not illegal to stage it. So I think this could be all kinds of crazy, wacky stuff. This is a bit of a circus, in my opinion.
Who would you think should win that fight? Would you think that Davis should be able to get in there, even though the size did 100 pounds? Do you think he should be able to do it?
If they don't stage it and don't kind of set up a sort of a mild sparring session, I'd say Davis has a chance. Depends on the size of the gloves. Because here's the thing, Jake is probably 100 pounds bigger than the guy. That's a lot of weight, Carl. You've been in a boxing ring, that still counts. And if you make the gloves small, Gervonta could technically hurt Jake even if he hits him. But the problem is, the gloves are small, Jake could also hurt Gervonta because Gervonta's so small. Gervonta's so much smaller than him. So you make the gloves big, and then really, who's got that advantage? I don't know. Technically, Gervonta's a lot better boxer, but he's so much smaller. I've stood next to Jake. Jake's a big guy. It's like I said, it's a bit of a circus freak show, and that's why I don't put it out of the question that this exhibition could be a bit staged in the ring.
That's fair enough. That's a fair point, that is. And actually,
people aren't talking about that enough. I feel like people aren't talking about that enough.
Well, he's threatening to sue everybody who talks about it, and anyone who talks about it.
Well, that's because his fights have been sanctioned, and I personally don't think he has set up the other fights. I personally think, like Mike Tyson, he had no legs left. You know what I mean? To tell you the truth, I thought that was an easy one to bet and call, was that Jake would beat Mike Tyson. And even some of these other fights, they're smaller. Jake doesn't set up his fights. I think what he does is he stacks the deck against his opponents in those fights. So I wouldn't call them staged, but they're deck stackers, so he has an advantage. In this situation, though,
weight has become a major talking point among fans and analysts. Many argue it's unfair to match a smaller fighter like Gervonta "Tank" Davis against a naturally bigger opponent like Jake Paul, raising safety concerns over the size gap. Others, however, believe elite skill can overcome size. They trust that Davis's speed, timing, and precision will neutralize the advantage. As history has often shown, great technique can defeat brute strength.
I mean, size will play some part of the fight, but if I'm thinking like I'm Tank, I'm probably just gonna go out there and try to outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ against him. So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Not a lot of people have talked about Jake and say he's got good power. Not even, and I get anything could technically happen, but you don't even see a realistic shot where he could land one big punch, and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is he's been boxing his whole life. Been boxing since a kid, so I doubt that's gonna be an issue or a problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see a more likely chance that Tank wins by decision or by knockout?
By decision. I mean, that guy's too big. I don't think that he's just gonna knock that guy out. So I see him outboxing.
could you see a realistic possibility where Tank could knock him out? Although more likely than it is, like you just said, a decision.
Nah, I don't see him knocking him out.
Will you watch, Shakur? I mean,
No.
obviously, no?
Hell no, nah, that ain't really like. I mean, like I said, here's the thing, like I got two sides of me when it comes down to it. I got a business side, then I got a competitor side. And from the competitive aspect, it don't excite me.
Happening. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135 pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight. And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seem set to wear 12-ounce gloves. And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the result will not be officially recorded.
Robert Garcia, speaking as both a former world champion and respected trainer, believes there's nothing wrong with Gervonta Davis accepting the fight with Jake Paul. It's his career, and he has every right to make choices that serve his interests. However, Garcia's main concern lies in the timing. He feels Davis is still in the midst of building his legacy, with more titles to capture and meaningful matchups that fans are eager to see. Many analysts describe the event as a global spectacle. Jake Paul, famous for his social media success and entertainment background, brings a massive audience that extends beyond traditional boxing fans. Some see this as positive exposure for the sport, while others fear it dilutes boxing's competitive spirit since Jake isn't a conventional fighter. There's also discussion about potential rule adjustments. Analysts predict Jake's camp may push for heavier gloves and a higher weight limit to reduce Davis's knockout power. Such conditions, they argue, might be Jake's only chance to survive past the early rounds. If those terms are set, Garcia advises that Davis will need to stay patient, strategic, and focused to secure victory.
Like that, but I don't know. What's your just take on the whole thing?
I'm not very interested in it. That doesn't excite me. I know it's going to do really good numbers. I know they're making a lot of money, which is good for them, good for Tank, because in boxing that's what everybody looks for. I think it's, the good thing is they announced it as an exhibition, which is, I'm okay with it. Everybody does it. Mayweather has done it. Ali did it. The only thing, my personal opinion is Tank. They all did it when they had already accomplished so much. They already did so much. Mayweather did everything in boxing and accomplished everything. Muhammad Ali did the same, and many others that have done it. I think Tank never gave us the fights that we really wanted. Never really gave us those challenges. He never really challenged himself. He didn't give Rhodes that rematch, which he should have. Mayweather did it when he had a hard time with Maidana and Castillo. Right away, he did the rematches to prove everybody wrong, and look at what he did. He beat him clearly. So Tank should have done the same. He didn't. That I could criticize, but then at the end also, if you're making 30 to 50 million, I don't even know what he's making to fight, to have an exhibition against just Jake Paul, I would imagine I would do the same.
No one would say no to that.
If I had one of my fighters get an offer to fight a big celebrity, a big YouTuber for $20-30 million, I would probably do the same. So I don't blame him. It's boxing. At the end of his career, 20 years from now, nobody's gonna care how many belts.
Bernie Thaw, the veteran boxer, takes a straightforward stance. He expresses frustration when people say they're simply happy for Gervonta Davis because of the money he'll make. Bernie reminds everyone that Davis isn't struggling financially. He's already earned plenty through his hard work and talent. In his view, money shouldn't be the main focus in boxing. What truly matters are great fights, real competition, and champions challenging one another. When financial gain becomes the top priority, Bernie believes the sport loses its essence. The upcoming matchup between Davis and Jake Paul symbolizes a collision between two boxing worlds, the traditional and the modern. Davis represents the old-school fighter, shaped by years in gyms and tournaments, while Jake Paul embodies the new era of celebrity boxing, built on fame and entertainment rather than grassroots competition.
And it's kind of, I kind of don't really care about the fight no more. Starting to lose a little steam.
But I'm saying, I mean, if he stops Pitbull Cruz, right? I mean, don't you think that people would want to see, Lamont and Tank more due to the fact that, Tank had a hard time with Pitbull?
No, I think people just want to see Tank versus Lamont because Lamont, he had a hard time with Lamont. It's just like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. People just like controversy. People just like, you know what I'm saying? So people don't see finished business. They don't want to leave it unfinished, and that's what the intrigue is. They want to people want to see finished business. So, you know what I'm saying? I think that's the intrigue of the fight, and it doesn't make no sense why they're taking so fucking fight. Everybody keeps saying that, Tank getting the money, but is we getting the fucking money? Is we bidding out for the fucking money? Is he gonna give us some of the money? Are we waiting on him to feed us any bit? No. I want what I want. Fuck that. I'm selfish. I'm a fan. I want to see the fucking fight. I don't want to see no fucking circus. You know what I'm saying? So for everybody saying, oh, he back, who gives a fuck? I hope he already rich as fuck. He already won $30 million in the last fight or something. He got more money than I'm ever gonna have. I don't give a fuck. I want to see the fights. I'm a fucking boxing fan. I want to see a fucking fight.
That's it for today's video, everyone. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and exclusive boxing.